How's that stream going?
I don't know yet.
Today's just cursed.
Big world. Okay, real quick before we get kicked off again. I don't understand it why women always assume gayness when a guy's not interested in not immediately chasing them or something like that. I find that a double standard. Okay, moving back onto the anime.
Double standard in what way?
I'm maybe not using the right word, but I feel like that's dumb. Like, I don't know why. It's like when a guy isn't actively chasing them, the immediate thought is he's gay. That aggravates me. Like, that actually aggravates me and pisses me off. That's not
I'm just saying it to be toxic, not because I believe it.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying that just in general, because I've heard this argument. I mean, I've heard this thought a lot, and it comes down to like, oh, he must be gay. Why is that the assumption? Guys don't do that when it comes to women. I don't understand like why women do that when it comes to guys. That doesn't make any dang sense. But this is like, I'm gonna move on from that because like that is something that aggravates me. It's something I never said actively in a void, and now I'm gonna be single forever. Now I said that, but whatever.
You heard it here first, folks.
Whatever. It just, but it's probably mostly because I've heard it from black women for a lot. I'm not gonna get into that. I've already talked to a friend back and forth about that. I gotta bring it here, but as I was so really called gay before.
I wasn't being rude.
As I was really being called gay before. An invisible girl. Like, I'm just saying it was unfortunate because she lost what made her invisible. I find it interesting though, his laser essentially messed with her ability to stay invisible. This makes me curious that I'm actually kind of curious. Maybe her invisibility isn't really invisibility. It's letting light through herself. Because if there's nothing there for light to come back at, since our sight is nothing more than moving molecules and stuff like that, we only see things when our line of sight receives something. In her case, it might just be that she's just letting light pass through her, and because of it, she's lacking a physical form. That's my theory on that. Like, possible. Get out of here with your random account and trying to get my channel in trouble. But like, I think that might be what it is, and I think it might be a form of camouflage versus invisibility.
Okay.
I can't prove that, but I only think that because like the light that Aoyama pushed out, she refracted it, and doing so messed with her invisibility. That doesn't make a lot of sense if you really think about how invisibility works. It shouldn't just make her visible, even if it is just translucent visible.
It struck me, not to cut in on what you're saying, but it struck me that like it was more like she was understanding that her ability wasn't invisibility so much as like broadening out to like kind of like the ability to refract. I'm sorry, it took me a second to say that. Refract light.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm more laughing at myself because I knew I did that before.
Yeah. It seemed like she was learning that it was light refraction was what she was supposed to be able to do, not necessarily something else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm really thinking her ability is more camouflage than it actually just in her being invisible. I really think that's what her ability is. Because like when it comes down to it, from the very beginning of the show, she was always invisible, but it was really no reason given behind it. It's just that her ability just never turns off.
Yeah.
So we only seen a couple times when she had a uniform on, or she had gloves and shoes on, but like beyond that, we don't really know why we never get a chance to see her. And then like two times last season and this season, when light was being dispersed or shot at her, it glitched, as she called it, glitched her invisibility.
Uh-huh.
That's why I'm thinking like it has something to do with light passing through her and also her ability to reflect the light. I feel like it has something to do with like light just passing through her. I'm not sure how it works with invisibility or being unable to see something in front of you, but it's something that happens in real life. I actually have a situation kind of like when I'm driving on the road and the sunlight's beaming down, the road in front of me kind of just disappears. I've never
Okay.
understood that, and it scares the crap out of me, but it only really happens during noon, and I think during the summer when the sun's like at its highest or whatever like that during noon. But I notice whenever light does come down, like for whatever reason, the road in front of me, like even though it's crusting, it just kind of disappears. It's almost like I'm inside of a video game just having really poor load times.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it when I'm looking at it, because I'm like, oh dear, why is it doing this? I don't like when it's doing this. This is scary to me. Like, but yeah, I feel like it has something to do with the way light passes through her. It's the only way I can explain it. But like with that being said, she refracted the light and shot plant dude, out like, and then he's I wouldn't say dead, but he's incapacitated.
Right.
But what I'm trying to figure out really quick, did they kill the plants? Wait, I think like 3 plants were.
What are you talking about, plants?
There was some plants with that plant guy when the laser was shooting when she reflected the light onto it. It looked like they got caught in the embers of the blast, but there was only like 3 bulb heads, so it doesn't really matter. But it was something I just noticed just now. I'm trying to see something really. No, we don't have so much time left. Wow, I could not find. Oh, that's right. That scene doesn't happen to the end of the episode. We have to hurry and burn these plants to save everyone. Like Pat was saying, even if the host falls, the will to grow simply comes to a halt. It doesn't disappear. You adjusted my light level and burned the roots that had grown onto me. Okay, so it sounds like the plants stop growing, but they just stay there. So I can only assume that means the plants are continuously sucking out life force. So I think that they will die, but if they got to get rid of the plants before that happens. I think that's what's happening.
Okay.
Like they like Fat Gum will die, but he ain't dead yet. There's a point when you see Fat Gum shaking a little bit, almost like he is still there, even though he's in pain. But I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just
I don't know. It was rough. It was a very brutal like scene overall.
Yeah,
I was very
shaking.
upset.
Huh?
Because like I Can't Stop Twinkling was like hanging there almost like he was being crucified. It was just really like a sad scene. And I don't know, there was some other heroes there that I probably have seen. There was like pieces of other heroes that I probably have seen in the background at some point, but I didn't know who they were.
Yeah, yeah, it was really dark. I mean, it was probably, I remember seeing this villain last season, but they didn't come back to him, so it was kind of shocked to be glad to come back to him now. But after all that, because Can't Stop Twinkling and Invisible Girl are gonna do their job to help out the heroes here. Really quick before we go back to All Might and One for All, there's a scene, and there's a small scene. It's such a small scene, but I'm guessing it's more just there to show the world is watching the fight with All Might and All for One. But it's a grandmother and I guess her grandson. At least that's what I'm assuming. That could be mother and son for all I know. But a family of a child and their parent are like watching TV as the fight with All for One is happening. And and he's like what, like the child's like, as he's watching this, like, what will happen if he loses? And she's like, doesn't really matter. It's not gonna affect us anyway. Our country that far off. What I wanted to actually talk about really quick was like, I wonder why he was shown. This isn't me knowing anything. I'm legitimately confused. I've never seen this character at any other point online or even in the show.
Yeah, and they keep focusing on him like he's a big deal. The only thing I could think of was that like he represented the world
That's what I'm
looking on,
saying.
and somebody being inspired by like All Might's battle, like despite, you know what I mean, not knowing who he was, like still like that he could still recognize that this man was a hero. That's how I interpreted that. That like, and maybe like on the last episode, maybe they'll do like the future of heroes or something, and that little boy has become a hero. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. Maybe they were setting up something like that.
Well, that's the only thing I could think that they're setting up is, but that's like kind of what I thought. I kind of said that briefly. It's like, it's possible that this is really just a scene to show that the world is watching the fight. So
Yeah,
we know the entire world is in on this fight. It just seemed kind of weird to me because it was like I don't know where this was. Only place I could assume is it's somewhere in Africa or it's India, but I don't think it could be India because they seem kind of dark skinned for India, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know the scale of pigment for India,
or how Japanese think that they can draw in black people, for that matter.
Oh, I know how they can draw black people. I've seen it.
I mean, we've seen Mr. Killerman from Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? They don't always do the best job at drawing black people. Do you remember Killerman?
No, I don't.
Hang on.
I hate that his name is Killer Man. I really I'm glad you remember that.
It's from Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. It's the lips. Like the drawing itself isn't that bad, but it's the lips that get me. It's like Dragon Ball is so racist about lips.
I mean, not all art of black people like have big lips. This is something I noticed that's become a lot better, but not all of our. I feel like I've seen him in Dragon Ball Z, but I could be completely wrong. But,
he was in like one of the tournaments, and I think he shows up in Dragon Ball Z actually for like a minute or something like that. Like I think he recognizes Boo or something, like he's like a little like cameo or something like that in one of the future tournaments. I can't remember though.
But honestly, I think they've gotten better about drawing black people. I don't think it's this bad, but I don't think that's really Japan's fault. I think that's more Toriyama, unless Toriyama did not draw that character.
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe
I'm willing to believe that Toriyama did. What?
Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I'm willing to believe either way. To be honest with you,
I think they gotten better because as far as I can tell, there's another black character. Well, technically speaking, he's like black, Japanese, and Spanish. Don't ask me how that even happened, but he doesn't have the stereotypical black lips. I mean, the big lips. Let me.
Wait, black people have stereotypical lips? Is that what you just suggested?
And stereotypical lips, and like whenever it's like making fun of black people.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning up my words so that way I don't get
blacklisted.
Wow, that's even more recent. I don't know how that possible. Bleach. Well, I guess his lips is kind of big, but they're not better picture of. He isn't just black. I don't know if you've seen that character floating around, but that's a character from Bleach.
Oh, he doesn't look that bad.
He doesn't have the big lips. That's what I was saying. Like, I mean, though they're kind of there, but they're kind of blended in with the rest of his skin tone.
But it looks like a normal. It doesn't look like Dragon Ball looked like they were making a joke out of what black people's lips look like. and that
I
looks
mean,
like they just tried to draw a character.
I'm gonna be honest. As the person of the demographic that was making fun of,
Uh-huh.
I didn't think that. Now, honestly, looking back on it, yeah,
With
you can make an
Killaman?
argument. Yeah, no, just like
You didn't think Killaman
listen,
looked like
listen,
they were making fun of black people's lips?
listen. I did not think, and I remember like this is the thing. I honestly, this is like honest. I don't remember this character ever coming up in conversation of it being racist. Honestly, I think half the people that I talked to probably glossed over him because it didn't matter. Yeah, obviously he was racist, but like at the same time, it's like I don't think. Again, this is during the time when Dragon Ball was just coming out in America over here. The Japanese thing of racist jokes wasn't something that we were aware of. Now, like depending on who you were, you probably were more aware of it than others. But as far as I was, and a couple of the people I hung around, we were not aware of that at first. I
Okay.
only found out about the racism and the blackface in Japan later. I was aware of the blackface, but I was only aware of blackface in America during slavery. I was not aware of it, overseas. I only
Yeah.
in the last like 10 years learned about the racism in the entire world. But I did not know about blackface in Japan. So like that, like in the last 10 years I found that out. But I was not aware of, like, but as I was saying before, when I saw that character, I did take note of him in my teenage boy brain, but it wasn't like something's off. More like this is a random side character that I'll never see again.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how I took stock of this character. Looking at him now, yeah, that's troublesome. But at the same time, it's like there was a huge point. At least the shows that I watched, black people were not included in it. To me, I think that's even more rude. But I guess you could argue like, why would black people be in Japan? I'm not gonna get into that. All I'm gonna really say is look up what's his name? I completely forgot his name. Why did I forget his name?
Because you have amnesia, probably. I would say almost certainly you have amnesia.
Yasuke. Look up Yasuke, because like when it comes down to that, then like why would there be black people in Japan? That's all I'm gonna really say. For people who don't know who that character is, I learned about him in the last year. I didn't even know he existed. But apparently, this guy is very important in Japanese history. For people who don't know who I'm talking about, look that name up. I can guarantee you've seen him before because he's appeared in other video games. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like what I was like. I feel like the black people should have been involved in anime at some point, even if it is a stereotypical inclusion like that, what they're doing, and I say stereotypical as like what people think that they look like.
Yasuke?
Yeah, I can just link.
Okay. I don't think I'm looking at the same one as you, because this is a black character that has big lips but doesn't look racist in the slightest to me.
But this isn't a racist thing. He's just, well, not take that back. His story has a racism in it, but it's not the racism you would think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What you say that Yasuke was a Nigerian? I think it was a Nigerian guy that was taken from Rome. It was from a country, European country, but he was on a ship with somebody who was going over to Japan at the time, and the emperor, who I forgot his name, when is Nobunaga? I think it's his name, Nobunaga, found out about him and wanted to know what he looked like. So he was brought into his kingdom in his palace, and because how black people looked, it was like unexpected, and they were kind of making fun of him. He kind of became a samurai. He had the samurai class bestowed upon him, and he was involved in a few wars. But after Nobunaga was defeated and I think killed, he went back to where he came from. My thing is, I don't know where any of the stuff that he had touched at the time even resides right now. Because a part of me wanted to know, did it go back to Italy or wherever he went back to, and it's still somewhere around there. I'm really interested in seeing if like we can't find the armor and the sword that he had during the time when he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, he did exist because this is something talked about in Japan specifically. Like it's important. It's actually funny how important he is because I wouldn't have expected that. To me, I like Black Samurai. It seems like a joke, but you know, the fact that he existed is like, oh my god, like, this is cool. This is freaking.
Yeah, for
This is
sure.
awesome. I didn't know he existed.
I agree.
Thing I found out about him like this year, sometime later, like, I was shocked. I was showing people around because I was like, I didn't even know he existed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, geez, like I really hate that because I would have really loved to know more about him. If there was any records of him, because I know they said that they found like actual paper with his writing on it, talk about his time there in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really weird. It was like, but I will say, like, the main reason why he became a samurai was because Nobunaga was just curious about what black people look like. That was it. Like, you know, again, it was like it was racist, but it wasn't racist in the way you would normally think.
Right.
So it's like, you know, but again, that's like a part of Nobunaga's legacy. Is like Nobunaga is just all over the freaking place.
That's always nice.
Yeah, I would love to know where his samurai sword is, if he had kept it or is it in Japan. I honestly would believe, considering I know how Japan is with their swords, it wouldn't have left
Mm-hmm.
Japan, but who the heck knows? But okay, really quick, I know we're 10 minutes over.
Can I talk about the All Might fight for a minute?
Go ahead. I was about to do that, and so we can end here, but you can go ahead.
Well, I've been saving something to say, but I haven't had a chance to say it yet.
Go ahead.
I thought the All Might fight was very, very interesting as a dark variation of the original fight. And the reason I felt like this was because so the nature of these two, like the whole thing between these two characters and their conflict is the whole story essentially. Like All Might versus One for All is pretty much the essence of the entire story. And what we have here is all for one and one for all. And the idea is that All Might is for everybody, and one for all is all for himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's selfish, he steals powers and takes them and uses them. And All Might is supposed to be the opposite of that, where he would never do something like that. And he is fiercely battling like those who would oppose that and try to go against it. You know what I mean? Am I making any sense? I'm sorry if I'm
No, you
not.
make sense.
So that was the whole thing. Like All Might's passed on to everybody. It's a selfless thing. It's a thing that like can be given, is meant to be given away, and his is meant to be something that steals and uses other people's powers. So here we have All Might in a situation where he is only using other people's powers. So this whole thing about like the guy kind of goading him, being like, "Oh, look how far you've sunk" and stuff like that. I felt that for a little bit because I was like, "Wow!" Like he sort of has fallen in a way because he's having to rely on other people's powers, and how enraging for him that must be. You know what I mean? To have to count on other, like to borrow other people's power. He's making it seem heroic and everything, and that's fine, all well and good. But he is like surviving by using not quite stolen powers, because he's not stealing anything technically, but he's fueled by other people's abilities right now, and the inspiration and everything else of them. So I thought that was interesting that he had to kind of go there. That was like the situation he ended up in. That he's not as different from his rival as he used to be right now in this fight. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate really quick because One for
And say
All
I
wasn't
disagree.
his. I'm not disagreeing with the whole idea he's having to use other people's powers, and he's kind of, and I guess I never really thought about it, him being,
Mhm.
but like playing devil's advocate for against that idea really quick of like, One and for All wasn't his. He took that power from his mentor.
He was given that power willingly.
Yeah, but that wasn't his power.
As a matter of fact, the power can't be stolen. It has to be given up willingly.
I'm not saying that he stole it. I'm just saying that like that power that he had wasn't his though. Like All Might was quirkless.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like I mean, I this is not to shortcut anything. I'm just saying that it's like, I don't know if All Might, like, again, another thing too, you say you think All Might's furious that he has to, I don't think he is. I think All Might is like, he's probably the happiest he's probably ever been, because again, he does say throughout this fight that he is so happy that he can be useful again. Like
Yeah, that's a good point.
he literally says like, I had to keep smiling through the pain, but I was like, I'm glad that I can be useful. Granted, I'm starting to see the lines of this. I'm thinking he's gonna die.
Believe it or not, I don't think he's gonna die.
Wow. I don't know how he can survive this. Granted, as we'll get to that one point in a minute here. I'm kind of waiting to talk about that. But up to this point, he has proven to be nothing more than a nuisance to All for One, but I think that's All Might's plan. I don't think
But All for One is living on borrowed time right now, like pretty heavily.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like, All Might has a plan, and that's like, All Might's nothing more than a nuisance, but I think that's a part of the plan. All Might never went into this fight thinking he was gonna beat him. But I guess it's also interesting thing when you talk about what the words they say, how All for One's like, so how far you've fallen. It's interesting
Yeah.
now I said that out loud with what I just said last, because All Might says that I never go into a fight thinking I'm gonna lose. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
he ain't losing here because he's not trying to beat him. He's just trying to, waste his borrowed time. As you said,
Exactly.
as you eloquently said this. So it's interesting that All Might pretty much let All for One know what he's trying to do, even though All for One knows. But he's been yelling it in his face the entire time that I'm not in this fight to win. I'm in this fight to waste your time, basically.
Exactly. But once he figured out that I can also if I do damage to him, it slows him down even more. Then he was like, well, I better try to do some damage too.
I mean, yeah, he's still gonna be wasting his time though. However much time he's still got left. I guess we can finally just talk about this. Either All Might, nearly flawless, I would say, not near victory with the laser and then the sound waves and then Grape Juice's ball technology. I found that kind of funny. Though I will say that when he used Grape Juice's power, I was reminded of the freaking ball that Grape Juice had threw at him last season. That I honestly thought was gonna be important, and I'm really sad that it's not. Because I really wanted him to do something in this fight and just be somewhat useful to the cause. But I'm not all that heartbroken over it, but I'm just kind of saddened by it because I wanted to root for him so much, and unfortunately, he's a tiny perv that doesn't really see much value in his own self. But whatever. Basically, after All Might's failed attempt of trying to keep All for One damaged into the concrete because the laser loses power, and All One for All has got him. It's got him at not a stalemate, but he's got him like where he wants him. And All for One is like reverted to being younger again, and something interesting happens, and it's like All for One is glowing now, and when that happened, I immediately had the thought of, was he the child glowing of light and that started all this? Was All for One the first quirk user?
That's an interesting thought.
Because he said he was like, All Might even says like, why are you glowing? It was like, and I remember that the first kid that had a quirk was somebody who was radiating light. Like, now granted, I don't like. There's no
That'd be
guarantee.
an interesting plot twist for sure.
There's no guarantee that he was, but I've always wondered, and I brought this up a couple times as we were reviewing this show over the years. What happened to the kid that was glowing light? They never really explained what ever happened to that kid. It was just suddenly a kid with the ability to glow like a light bulb, and that was it. They never really went beyond it.
Shine bright like a diamond. Sorry.
Oh please, but but like I just thought it was interesting because like he's suddenly glowing. And this is the first example of that glowing ability we've seen this entire show. Really weirdly too. Like, it almost seems on purpose. Though I will actually. No, I will say this. It's possible he's not the first quirk user, but he stole the quirk. That's a possibility that he stole he stole the quirk. Maybe that was his first victim of his stealing adventures.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting that he just suddenly started glowing, and then he had like a tree or whatever growing from his shoulder, and as he's about to.
Why do you think he's never used that ability before?
With the glowing thing?
Yeah.
Maybe because it's not useful. It doesn't seem like it was providing him any powers. It just seemed to be.
Then why is he using it now?
He's younger. Possible that he's reverting back to his original state. Well, he is reverting back to his original state, but maybe his original state had that power. Maybe maybe it's one of those powers that he just got that he just like he either forgot about, or it's just been there and he's managed to shut it off. I don't really have a good response for that. It just seems random that we have seen it again, and it's like, huh, weird. I don't know. It seems on purpose, just because of how random it is. But as he's about to like finish All Might, once and for all, he just kind of gets stuck into place. And at first, I thought that, oh, is he finally about to have his time up? And then, no, we see Stains holding him down, and he's apparently had blood everywhere. And I'm like, Stains here, and I flipped out.
I thought that was so cool.
I wasn't expecting him. I was like, Stains shows up and saved All Might.
And he gets nasties too. He starts licking the blood and everything.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. It's like they really did not hold back on the droll. It really was full droll. But yeah, basically he takes up all for One's blood and paralyzes him. And he says like, "Get him, All Might," and then that's when the episode ends.
It's a good ending time.
I was so happy to see Stain again, considering it's like he's probably like, I feel like you'd probably be the happiest, considering that I know that Spinner was kind of a flop for you. I
have always liked. I know I'm not supposed to like Stain because he's a villain, but like, or sort of a neutral, but like, more bad than good so far. But I really like Stain, so I was happy to see him come back in a meaningful way.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. I was like, oh, well, this is a good sign for Jock, mainly because I know Compress. You're disappointed by Compress. Very disappointed in Spinner, if I remember correctly. I don't know if there's anybody else that you even liked on the villain side.
I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem. You don't have to like people on the villain side. I don't think that's the job.
I did like Compressor. I liked Compressor. Twice was a little amusing. I'll give him a little credit. Yeah, there's not a lot of villains. I guess there's not a lot of villains I like.
I think I like Twice more than I gave him credit for.
Oh yeah?
If I'm being real, because it's like, I think what it is, like when he was alive, I didn't really know how to feel for him. But they were telling a sad story, and it was always a sad story with him too. It was never a happy story. The guy was like a fired salaryman that suddenly discovered he had the ability to split into multiples, and it ruined his life because apparently all these splits were a different personality.
Yeah.
And he did not know who he was, and when he found out who he was when his powers freaking fully matured, and sad man's death parade happened. But I think honestly, what really was cool is like, when he did die, it gave an awakening kind of towards Himiko Toga, and she started having more direction with her character, because at the time before that, Toga was kind of just random, chaotic evil. You know, you didn't know what she was gonna do, and she was trouble for the heroes anyway because like she was doing things they didn't know how to combat.
Yeah.
And because she
They
was
still don't know how to combat her. Like, she's not even using her power anymore, is she?
Toga's dead.
Right. So this is just like leftovers from her power.
I don't think no, when she died, every single one of those clones died with her.
Oh.
I don't think any of the clones.
Then what are all the clones doing then that are running amok right now? What is that story?
What clones? Where? What clones and where?
The Twice clones are still running crazy, aren't they?
No, the beginning of the episode was a recap from the last season. They were just showing us.
Okay.
They were just showing us that. At least is how I was taking it. That everything that we saw last season was all happening at the same time as what was happening with All for One and All for One and All Might and Deku and Shigaraki.
Okay.
The time was just
I
passing.
watched this twice. Why do you understand this so much better than I do?
I only watched it once. It's just.
I know.
No, I was my understanding. I'm not sure if my understanding is correct, but from what I could tell, the first half of the episode was just a recap.
Okay.
Because like Toga's dead, and she died last season, killed herself after giving blood to Uraraka. That's when she discovered that her power could be good, and unfortunately, because of how she lived, she wasn't able to kill anything beyond saving Uraraka, which I thought was a sad ending. I know a lot of people probably don't care about Toga all that much because she's insane. And they're not wrong, but I feel like her insanity just dealt with the fact that her really bad upbringing was just what resulted in that. And I really do love that because I wasn't able to figure out what good her power was. I really wasn't until they animated it and showed that, oh, she could be a blood bank, and now she's dead.
Yeah.
Look what you've done, Hero Society.
That's funny.
Not really funny, it's more dark, but okay. I know we are running way over time here. So next week, as long as things don't go awry, we'll be back for another review episode of My Hero Academia as we roll through the final season. I can't believe we're here, and I'm still sad by it. I'll enjoy the ride.
I am too. I hope this season's a whole bunch of people winning shit because I need some wins right now, emotionally.
I don't think last season was that bad. I mean, yeah, that was dark. I think I enjoy those moments a little bit more because like I don't know how. When you were asking how they were going to get through this, I was like, a part of me that's kind of why I watched this thing, because I wanted to see how they're going to get through it. Because it's probably going to be something I didn't think about. A part of me enjoys those moments where I can't figure out how they're going to get through something. Because like it lets me be in the moment in the anime a whole heck of a lot more than watching it and be on the outside of it, figuring out, okay, so they're gonna do this, they're gonna have this, Frappa's gonna come out of there, reveal some ultra amazing power that she's been holding back the entire time and win the entire fight. That was a joke, by the way. That was a joke.
Wait, is that a spoiler?
No, I don't know that.
Floppy's gonna win?
I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I was saying words.
Floppy's gonna win.
None of what I said was true. With that, good night, everybody. Enjoy your sleep. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, man. Sorry about that.
None of